Hey, Francine. Start the recording. There we go. And I will hit this button that says share screen.
Holly, are you there yet?
All right, there we go.
Okay. Okay.
Good job, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, so I don't really have
presentation mode, buddy.
Presentation mode. Then
Or
I can't get out
slideshow
of,
mode.
Oh, let's see. Oh, see, look, got animations and everything. This is just one of the options. So yeah, I'm your president, and as far as introductions and announcements, just thank you all for joining the Zoom meeting. Hope you guys didn't have too much trouble joining today. And if anyone has any questions about how to dial in, or if you can't hear anything, you can contact Julie Jennings for tech support. I'm just kidding. No, you can contact me. I can put my number in the chat. You can just reach out to me directly. We have a few guests tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to have Jake Swaney here. I don't see him in the Zoom call yet, but Jake Swaney is the Director of Volunteer Engagement, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about City in Motion Dance Theater. It's the Volker, I think it's called, Dance in the Park, that they put on every year. There's some of his contact information, but hopefully he'll be around to talk more about it. I'll then give some PIAC updates, which there's not much really, but I'm happy to give those updates. Then we'll move over to Franciene Gill and talk a little bit about her new initiative, the Senior Outreach Program, just giving an overview where we're at, as well as share with you guys some of the information we've put together so far. Then Officer Holly Sticken will give us some of the West Plaza Kansas City Police Department updates. Then we'll have Julie Thompson give us the Watch Program updates. And then Margie will talk to us about the West Plaza cleanup that's going to happen this weekend. And then we'll talk about 2020 events, and then with a closing raffle. So without further ado, do we have Jake Swaney in the Zoom call? Okay.
I didn't see him.
So I'll move on straight to PIAC. So the plan still is to address all of Wyoming. I think there was a certain corridor of Liberty that was being covered. Upon speaking to Uday and others, I found that there was one block that was somehow skipped in the request process. So my plan is to go forward with everything that we already talked about on the last Zoom meeting, but this year canvass that one block that for whatever reason got missed and submit that through PIAC. There's also one block in the business district on 45th Street, kind of in that antique area, where a resident was recently walking and tripped and fell and hurt herself. And so I'll canvass that area as well and find if there's any other sidewalk improvements that we can get along there. But I think that's about what I'm looking for PIAC this year. If there's anything else that anyone else is interested in pursuing, say if you want to pursue your streets or new storm drain coverings or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. I can share some information on the Facebook channel about what kind of projects are covered via PIAC, and I'm more than happy to help kind of guide you in the process of how to go through the PIAC process and submit the request. And I can even do so on your behalf, but you have to be willing to not only be very descriptive about where the request is being made, but also include some pictures. But I'm, again, more than happy to walk anyone through that, and I'll make some of my information available online. All right, that does it for PIAC updates. Any questions before we move on to Francine? All right, Francine, floor is yours. And you're muted, Francine.
Thank you for joining us this evening. This typically would have been a presentation I would have made, I believe, at our March general meeting. Of course, we have not had any of those. I joined the board in January of this year, and as the process of joining the board, you are asked to select an initiative or volunteer effort, and sitting over in the to-do initiative column was senior outreach. And this is before COVID-19 or any of that. And so I agreed that I would begin the process of developing a more formal senior outreach program because I got very excited about it. But of course, reaching out and making visits or asking questions or seeking volunteers has been delayed significantly because, you know, COVID changed our lives significantly. So we have gone as long as we possibly can to wait to do that, but now we thought was a good time. And instead of doing this in an in-person meeting, we all agreed that perhaps if I would just send out letters and introduce our first steps or our first phase of creating an initiative. And we know that it would over time begin to look different because now we understand there's COVID, there's social distancing issues, all of those things, but we didn't want to delay it any further or we would be into next year again trying to create something. So what we create now could look very different by next summer because it will be ever evolving, because our goal is to create an initiative that's important to our seniors. And when I say our seniors, Franciene is right in the middle of that. What would be important and how do we show our support and how do we show our citizens within West Plaza that we care about them and care about their needs and care about the things that are important to them in their daily lives. And thank you, Margie, where are you? I'm trying to look for you. Thank you for some of those suggestions because those are the things I thought as we move further into this, that we could get pretty active as a group of seniors and doing very kind of social things, whether it's book club, knitting, or dinner out or something. But there's all kinds of options that we would be able to do to get those who are actively get out and those who don't have an opportunity to get out often. So lots of things as we evolve this program that can be pretty exciting for everyone. So Josh, are you able to show so on July 10th, and I think for the Toms and for Margie, who else? Anybody else on the phone who got the letter from me? I sent a letter. And we don't have to go through the letter. It just says much of what it is. Can you take us to this little survey? So I had a cover letter explaining in more formal terms of what I just shared with you. But I also included this little survey that you see on the screen asking, you know, what's important to those 25 individuals, 26 with me, that we identified as seniors, being 60 plus, and that's a member of the West Plaza Association. Now, what we don't know, if there are other individuals who might be interested, and if so, and if you think you know of any of those individuals, we would like for you to share this, encourage them to join the WPNA, and then to complete our survey so we can reach as many seniors within our community as we possibly can, so no one is overlooked. And if you'll move that down some more, there's an opportunity to not only the little blocks that we made, we asked for some suggestions, which Margie was so kind to offer, whether it was knitting or it was a knitting or book club. So we want to hear from everyone about what would be important. So the other feedback that we kept getting is how much people missed getting the newsletter, because in many times that's what connected many of our seniors to what was going on in the community. So again, we decided to include this question, understanding that with between 60 and above, there are different levels of skills and technology. So we wanted to identify those who wanted to deliver to their homes and those who would prefer just to have an email and send it via their email. So we've gotten back about 24% of the 25 that I sent out. And in that group, I do have 2 individuals already who said they'd rather have a hard copy instead of the email. So we want to be able that we create something that we don't miss people because of difference in whether they spend time out or spend most of the time at home or have technology or not technology. So I've said, I've shared my bit. Are there questions? Comments?
Fine. That's Sylvia with David comment. The email is just fine. We have got good technology. We're in the backyard with my cell phone right now. So that's fine. Thank you.
What? I'm hearing something, but I can't.
Yeah, you can see me.
Oh,
I turned on the video.
oh, okay.
I think so.
So yeah, the email is fine. So in our backyard, got a nice fountain, banana trees. So an email is fine. We don't need it.
So I don't quite follow. Did you receive a letter from me?
I'm not sure. Dave doesn't always look at his emails very well, so but anything is fine. Just as long as he receives email notification. Thank you.
So
Okay, thank you.
what would be the process for when you've identified a service that somebody wants for then making that service available to them?
We're going to, the first step is to identify what our group has decided, what the senior group has decided, what's most important. And then we would ask for volunteers, because typically we would have done this in March. We would have said, here's the initiative, who would like to volunteer for this program? So we're having to do different steps at different stages. So we'll identify what it is, and then we'll start to match, request volunteers. And if there are people who are in close proximity, we likely would match that volunteer with that individual. Or if they have a particular skill, whether it's helping to shovel snow, small home repairs, or those things, but we want to be very specific that we have someone who's able to do that and not overextend ourselves to say we can do something and we can't.
Got it.
So I see a question in the chat from Julie T asking about when and how we want to get the newsletter restarted. And it's a good question because I think for a while, like, we didn't know what was going on with COVID. We didn't know how it was transmissible, and we were still learning new things about it. But now that things have kind of become more clear, I guess we could start reaching out to our partners at Printech and seeing what they're comfortable with doing, and then working again with our volunteers and seeing if we can put together some articles and restart it and try to figure out some protocols to put in place to make sure that we're basically not spreading the disease around. That's the big concern that I have is, anytime someone's handling any kind of object and someone else touches that object, they could potentially be contaminated. And so we just want to put as many safeguards in place as we possibly can to reduce the risk of transmission. So we can start talking about that. I don't have a clear answer on that right now, though.
But I do think, Josh, that we, as the board, have been diligent about posting news that the neighborhood would need to know about, whether it's city related or neighborhood related or safety related, on the website as well as our Facebook pages. So information is still being disseminated, just not in a paper form. So encourage as many people as you can to, follow the Facebook pages as well. I know it's not a great substitute, but at least it's information.
And I think, the charm of the newsletter is it wasn't purely informational. A lot of it was, just topics of interest. It was the voice of any of the neighbors in the neighborhood who wanted to write an article. And I like that concept and want to bring it back somehow. I had a notion for a while that we might put something like that on the website, even like a blog almost. But I also recognize that people, some people just don't want to log online. They want to just feel something in their hands and they want to see that newsletter. So I understand it coming from both areas.
I like that idea, Josh. And maybe you could just even send it via email. I don't think that has to be necessarily paper, but yeah, the newsletter with different articles, very nice.
Okay, so we could look into starting back up the articles and then sending them out via an email at least. And yeah, I mean, we could start there if we don't feel comfortable doing the physical papers yet. We can work around those. So that's good feedback.
And okay, Josh, you can, if I don't have any more questions, you can remove my document from the screen. If anyone would like to receive that, just let us know. If you would like to receive a copy of the letter and the survey form.
Francine, I would like
If
to
you want to
receive a
opt
copy.
in, if you want to opt in for the senior program.
Francine, I'd like to see the letter.
Okay.
And Josh,
that
Jake has joined the call from City Motion.
I saw that. So I think once we are through with this topic, we'll move back over to Dance in the Park. So I think our next steps are, making sure that we have written down folks that wanted to receive the senior outreach letter or the email, as well as folks that are interested in having us revive the newsletter, even if it's in a purely electronic format for now. Any newsletter is better than no newsletter is the feedback that we're getting. So we can look to restart that.
Okay.
I think it's on our August agenda for the board to.
And
revisit.
and who said they would like to see a copy of the letter and the survey?
Julie Tenenbaum. She
Okay.
should have been, I think I marked her as, she should have been one of the recipients, but maybe I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't that.
Nope. Okay, Julie.
Thank you.
Do we have an email address for you?
Oh, you definitely do.
Oh,
I can get it to you, Francine. No problem.
Okay. All right, we'll get it to you. Anyone else?
Sylvia, were you wanting to opt in as a senior and get the letter and survey?
As a senior, I don't need to, I mean, I just need the email for the newsletter. Other than that, I don't need to opt in as a senior or anything like that. I'm very tech savvy. I've taught online classes for years, so it's not a problem.
No, I meant, did you want to opt in for the senior outreach program?
Outreach, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think Dave wants to at this point.
okay.
All right, any other topics before we move back to Dance in the Park? Okay, Jake, I see that you've joined the call. Can you let us know you're here? Can
Yeah.
we? Hey.
My webcam has not been working lately, so just my voice here. But I did make it. Sorry about my absence here from the beginning. So my name is Jake. I'll just kind of introduce myself. I am the new Director of Volunteer Engagement for City Motion Dance Theater, and which in turn means each event for Dance in the Park as well. I'm also a board member. So unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a bad news. So due to, the rising cases in Missouri and Kansas, we decided as a board that we will be canceling Dance in the Park this year. It just, with us trying to keep all of our dancers safe along with, any public that attends the event, it just was going to be a little bit more logistically complicated than what we had planned. So due to that, unfortunately, we do have to cancel this year's event. It was a pretty difficult decision, but we have, canceled the remainder of all of our events this year as well. Just, for safety reasons, and, Dance in the Park is a pretty large scale event. So our biggest issue was, trying to keep the dancers safe because it is pretty confined space back there. And then along with, all of our volunteers. So hate to be the bearer of bad news, but.
Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I'd sent over an email to Stephanie last week, but then I just checked my outbox and it never sent. So I apologize for that. I didn't mean to take up any time on your guys' agenda today, so my apologies for that.
Oh, that's no problem. I mean, we appreciate the update, and if there's anything that we can do, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to support.
No, and same for you guys. If you guys are planning, I know you guys have an event coming up in September, so definitely let us know if we can help in any way.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you,
so
Jake.
much, Jake.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. I think next up is KCPD updates, followed by the WPNA Watch program. So we'll move over to Holly, who I think I saw join the call.
Yes. You have
Okay.
there you
I
go.
got it unmuted. Hi guys. I just can't put you on gallery. I only see one person. Oh, there we go. Okay. Whew, technology. So looking at the crime stats for the last month, there's definitely been an uptick in theft from autos and stolen autos. When I talk to the property crime sergeant, there's still a lot of cars that are being left unlocked. So, yeah, I don't know how to get people to realize how important it is to take their stuff out of their car. That's the driving force right now within your neighborhood. I've been looking over the maps, and there's been a couple of aggravated assaults that detectives are assigned to, but that's about all that I'm seeing within the neighborhood. I know Julie and I have talked about doing a virtual block watch type training, and I'm just waiting to hear back on some dates and some time so we can look into that, and I will try to learn how to. I see there's a share button and I can do it with the PowerPoint, but what we're trying to do is tailor it down so that it's not so long, that you get the meat of the presentation, so it's not extremely long. But I'm really hoping that by doing it virtually, that people will become more interested in wanting to do it if they can do it from the comfort of their homes.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. So we should maybe start floating an announcement on the page, on the watch page, that we're picking a day and time, and add yourself to the list to get the invite to the meeting kind of thing.
Yeah, so on that note, I sent out an email to members that had previously expressed interest. So based on Julie's list that she had collected, I've heard back from one person who was interested, which is fair enough. That was a while back. So I was just I sent that out on Sunday night. I was just trying to see what their interest was, since they were previously interested, and what days, like if they wanted Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, if there were kind of specific times. So, I mean, I'm happy to go ahead and put something out on the Facebook page, or if there's, of course, anybody interested that's here tonight, if you want to tell me your email, tell me your phone number, put it in the chat section, I will make sure and add you to the list. Stephanie, can't hear you.
Should we send out a MailChimp?
We can. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
How
we
many
can
people
set
does
out.
that go out to?
And based on the feedback that I get, I can even create a specific MailChimp list for general meetings, for watch stuff, for other stuff. So I can do customized lists so people don't get the stuff. So yeah, I can do
I
that.
think that'd be good. Great.
So yeah,
Yeah, is
once I
there-
have a better sense, like a more confirmed number, then I'll reach out about dates that you'd be available, Holly.
Okay.
I think a simple announcement, like if we post it to the top of the watch page, that says we're planning a virtual neighborhood watch training. If you
And
want
just
an invite, put your name here.
put your
Well,
name
we
here.
can do something, we can do a Google Forms where
Yeah.
link, just like a sign up like we did out in the park. So anyone who wants to sign up, and we can send it to you, Julia.
Sure, that'd be great. Yep, I was just like, email
So
me or,
Julia,
yeah.
why don't you and I connect maybe tomorrow, next, or sometime this week, just the two of us, and we can get that going, and we can create
Yeah.
a Google Forms and then put it on the Facebook pages as well as the website.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, the only day that that I will never be available is Sundays. That's
Okay.
kind of my family day, that with my son being an officer, we've kind of set that day aside for family.
Okay.
So, and he was he was the first officer that got shot.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
no.
that.
wow, Holly.
So yeah, it's kind of been a stinky month, but
Yeah.
we're
Wait, Holly, when did this happen?
July 2nd.
31st Street.
And
On
what's,
31st Street?
how's he?
Other officers got
Or no,
shot.
you're right. It was the ATA officer at Independence and Hardesty.
how's he-
And then the second officer, that happened at 31st and Hardesty.
Yeah, the one on the city bus. Is that where your son was?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
got on, he came in
Yeah.
the back door or?
Yes.
From my understanding, the bus driver sent out a distress type word, and he got officers to meet him over there. And as he was approaching the bus, the suspect started shooting. And with the city buses, you can't see through the windows. And so he went to take cover, and the suspect managed to get off the bus and then turned around and started firing in the bus. And that's when a sergeant that was on scene was able to get a proper shot. And when he shot him in the arm. I mean, he's still alive. So, yeah, my husband and I were going out of town because that's what we were trying to do after all the protest stuff, was just kind of unplug and get away. And I got a phone call from my partner. He goes, I know you'd want this call. So we turned around. We had just gotten into Illinois, turned around and came home. It was a long 4-hour drive.
Yes.
How's your son doing now?
He's doing good. From what I understand, it was a 38, the plexiglass that it had to go through caused the round to lose velocity. And so when it actually struck my son in the shoulder, it was like right below the back shoulder blade on the left-hand side. It broke skin, but it bounced off. And so he was off work for 2 weeks. He came back yesterday. So now he jokes around with me. He goes, see, I told you I was Superman. I deflect rounds. And I'm like, okay, you do not have that attitude out on the street.
No,
Because that is not true. But okay.
still duck and cover, man.
Exactly. But he's strong, and he knows he has a job to do, and he's slowly getting back into it. He's not rushing, which is good. And so my husband and I decided that we were going to try to go back out of town. And we leave Thursday, but I told my major, who is also my son's major, that he had to ground him to the station.
So you can take a vacation.
Exactly, so I can unplug. That just, it makes Sunday family dinner day that much more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And the other office, the other officer that was shot is really recovering well. I think better than what was expected from the critical doctors, but he's coming along. He's young, very healthy, so he's still listed in stable condition. So keep your fingers crossed that he can come back, because he was shot in the head.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
sorry.
yep. So it's been kind of a tough 7 weeks, but we're resilient. People are still coming in, they're doing their job, and that's the best we can ask of them. So
Please pass along that we're very much in favor of the police.
Yes,
Well,
we are. We are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love you guys.
I will
Put
definitely
up with
do
for
that.
us.
Go Big Blue.
Go
Yeah.
Big Blue. Hey, Holly, as far as, thank you for sharing that with us and our thoughts out to you and to the other officer for sure. I did want to circle back to what you started talking about as far as like the car theft or petty
Theft
theft
from
within
autos.
cars.
Mhm.
Are there certain areas within West Plaza that are spiking? Have you noticed it like farther east, west, north, south of West Plaza? Are there certain hotter targets?
Well, where I've noticed it seems to be like from let me see. This is why I like Zoom. I can go through my paperwork. So from last week, there is a cluster that I noticed that's around 40th and like Penn area. So I kind of look at your area and surrounding, and I noticed that there's a lot of like property damage and theft from autos that is starting right around, they have it kind of marked as Pennsylvania area, but when you start there, it kind of starts heading to the west. And then what is your south boundary? Is it it goes clear up, right? To like
Our south boundary is 48th Street is the park, and
right.
48th Street west, 48th Street east, and we go south toward Parkway at Bellevue.
Okay, that's what I was looking at.
I'll share it right now.
It's there's just like, it's a little cluster. I know that our property crimes has been looking at a white vehicle, and they had tags on it at one time, but the tags have since been taken off. And it's a little white Audi sedan. So I am trying to see if, I know there was a detective assigned to it, and I haven't been able to catch him because they're getting hit with the property crime from all these protests also. So I've emailed him to find out if that's still a vehicle of interest. And I will try to get more on that. And when we do,
We can post it to the watch page.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. And that way, I'll see if they will supply us with a pretty good picture, because I know they have several from different Ring cameras, but it's getting to a really good picture that if you were to see them cross in front of you, you would say, yep, that's it. Chatter with other neighborhoods is, it seems like people are still pulling on door handles anywhere between 4:30 a.m. to around 7, that different people are picking that up on their Ring, but the picture isn't clear enough to be able to get a distinctive description to be able to put out. So I know that the sergeant's been, trying to give us updates, and I told him that I was getting ready to have your guys' meeting tonight. And so he's going to go back and try to gather as much as he can so we can get it on your crime page.
Okay. We also had an attempted porch furniture theft that the picture of them is beautiful. I wish I recognized them.
Yeah.
Lucinda's camera got an excellent picture of this female and male porch furniture thief, but she has her porch furniture chained down, so they didn't get to take it.
That's a good idea.
It was an excellent video.
But did she send it?
I hope so.
Yeah, because you have
It was on the Ring alert for this neighborhood.
It was on Ring alert for the neighborhood.
Yeah, I got
Well,
that.
so do you still have the picture?
I do. I have it on my I have it on my feed.
Can
So,
you send it over?
I'll send her an email and tell her that she needs to send it to you, and you'll send it to her.
Yeah, she can send it to me, and then that way I can forward it over. Even if they didn't get anything, they
their
the
picture's
sergeant
right
over
there.
Yeah, they keep they keep record of that. Right. And so if they have anything else that's going on, then they can go back and look at those pictures.
What time of day was it, Julie?
11.
Early, like about 5 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Oh, I thought
it was Susan Dill. She used to be a real good volunteer for delivering the newsletters.
No, it's Lucinda Dill. Yeah, not
Susan's
Susan.
daughter, or well, she's a.
No, I don't think. I think they're two individual Dill families, but yes, Lucinda and her daughter are excellent newsletter volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Up there on Terrace.
But I'll send her a message to make sure that she sends it in to you.
Yeah, do, and I'll get it over to the property detectives.
Thank you.
So I will let you know that we've had several officers that have chosen to retire. And of course, with the city not receiving as much tax from tourism and things like that, they've asked us to cut our budget back. So the chief has agreed not to start. There's one more academy class that's midway through. Once they graduate, he's agreed to not put the next 2 going through. So we'll see how that's going to look, especially with all the retirements that are probably going to happen between now and December. So the chief is very, very much behind keeping 2 CIOs at each station. I haven't heard any different, but it might be that there's going to be a period of time that I'll have to go back to the street for a short time. So, but I will definitely let you guys know if that happens. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, and I feel like I'm a Debbie Downer today. I'm so sorry.
Well, Holly, definitely let us know, especially as these decisions are happening, what all we can do, especially the neighborhood watch, how we can be more supportive and of our community in particular, and of you guys.
Okay. I will. I will. It's you know, between the COVID and the protests and the homicide rate, I wish I could say that once November 4th happens, that it will just poof, go away, that it's all tied to the elections. At least in my brain, that's how it's working, and that's what I'm hoping for. But, you know, reality is I look at it day to day. But I will tell you, I miss seeing you guys in person. It's really stumped for me. I feel very isolated from my neighborhoods. So
You do.
yeah, I mean, it has affected me more than what I thought it would. Not being, you know, it's great seeing people on a screen, but there's something to say about in person, you know, actually physically seeing a person. So, and I would imagine you're not going to have your annual park event.
Well, the music in the park has been canceled till next year, but Art in the Park is happening on September 26th.
Art in the Park?
Art in the Park, our fall event, we're having it on September 26th, and we'll have
26th.
Is
it the 26th?
I think it's the 26th.
Whatever that Saturday.
The Saturday is the last Saturday in September.
Yeah.
And
yeah, 6.
Yeah. And it's going to be from 10 to 6, right? And that we did 10 to 6, and we're going to have socially distanced tents, but people are going to, we will have hand sanitizer and artists like Marlene Toms and whoever else is going to, we're going to have a mask. I have a tenant who is making masks, so she's going to have her little masks. They're the ones that like scoop down for your glasses.
That's nice.
So your
I
glasses
hate when
don't
they like fog up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then there'll be a coffee cart. One of my tenants is just started his own brewery, so he's going to be having a coffee cart. We're going to have caramel apples from Anador's individually wrapped.
Oh,
Pies by Diane, if we can figure out how to individually pie by the slice with Andy's custard on top. And I don't know that we'll have meals or food trucks, but that's certainly up to the meal and food truck people. But we have lots of artists that are interested. Huh?
Will masks be required? Because it won't be
in the park.
Mm-hmm.
I won't require them. I would suggest them.
Yeah.
But socially distancing, you know, people can't be more than one person in somebody's tent at a time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We should have signs up or something, maybe.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what taking it to the streets is helping us do some events on Friday nights. And that's what I did. We're targeting areas that have a lot of gunfire and the homicides. And I made up yard signs and just printed. And this is an example. Down at the bottom, you know, I reminded them of the social distancing, and I had like hand washing stations with the signs, and then the hand sanitizer, and the a person from the health department came out, and he said that, you know, I had everything in place because it was, you know, it's outside, so you can definitely social distance.
Right.
And, you know, I think we're having to learn how to navigate so that life can come back in some semblance and not be, you know, homebound. I think. So I will definitely put the art in the park on my calendar. And
Excellent.
yeah, no, I will represent.
And we've had some neighbors that are artists that have been doing porch music.
Yes.
On the porch at 4440 Bell, and they're gonna come and do a set at the park on that day. There's several musicians now in their group. I think they're up to five or seven now. But we'll utilize the concrete pad in the middle.
Hey, Julie,
Here.
we got to do a time check because we're almost out of time, and we haven't gotten to Margie's.
I already did my art in the park plug, so there we go.
Okay. Margie, thank you for being patient. Why don't we move on to you next? And then with what time we have left over, maybe then we can let Julia go and then we can get to the raffle.
Holly, do you need to pop off?
I probably will here in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for all
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
so
Thank you, Holly.
KCPD.
So
Thank
great
you so
to
much.
see you guys.
You too.
You too.
Tell Rick I said hi.
I will.
Okay. I know that many of you already know some of this, but I'm going to go through some of the ideas that I put together to make sure that anyone who wasn't real familiar would know that our neighborhood cleanup is sponsored by the West Plaza neighborhood and Kansas City, Missouri. And it's this Saturday, July 25th at 7 to 11 a.m. It's usually in May, but the city had to reschedule all the spring cleanup. So we're not the only ones that have had a change of date. We'll have 4 dumpsters on Wyoming on the one for yard waste, 2 for household waste, and 1 for recycling glass. Atlas Glass will be there. For everyone's safety, traffic flow on Wyoming will be one-way north from 48th to 47th. And vehicles will be directed to take Fairmont down to 48th and enter at the check-in tent at 48th in Wyoming. And Julie, you'll be manning that to check people in. That's also where volunteers will
Check in.
of course,
Yeah, I already
they'll
have
water
the
there,
check-in.
they'll
I
have
already have
masks,
the
they'll
check-in
have their
sheet that
safety
you
vests.
sent.
Right.
I'll have a cooler with water and ice as well.
Okay, remember Mike is bringing the bottled water, so you don't
I'm
have.
just gonna have a cooler full of ice.
Great, perfect. Speaking of those volunteers checking in there, we have a great team again. We're providing, as I said, bottled water, also masks. Julie Tenenbaum made a whole set of masks for the volunteers that they can probably want to pitch at the end of their shift, but they can take them home and wash them as well. The thing is that we need more help. And in particular, we need more volunteers to load and sort the items in those 2 popular household waste dumpsters. Because first of all the metal items are put aside to be picked up by Roger, the metal scrapper. Usually we put reusable household items aside, but we do not have a thrift store pickup. And they're just not operating in the same ways. They don't have the personnel or the trucks to do that. So on the flyer and every other place, we're encouraging people to have reusable household items to take them to a thrift shop on your own, because they won't be out on the grass for people to come and sort through. Everything that comes in is going to go directly into a dumpster, including a reusable table or whatever. So think about that before anyway, I hope people will take that into account. But we do need more help with those 2. There are those 2 shifts, one from 7 to 9, the other is from 9 to 11. And if anyone here would still like to sign up, you all can leave your name and the shift that you want and your contact information in the chat room, and I will watch for that and contact you, and we'll work that out. Does anybody have a question or suggestions for how this might go on Saturday.
I have a question. You know how, like, whenever it seems like we put things out on the curb, someone always ends up coming by and getting it, right?
Right.
Is there, like, this is so crazy, but like a Facebook group of those people who say, oh, go to this neighborhood because it's great? Or, I mean, is there like a collection of pickers in town that we could tell them about this? I don't even know if that's crazy or not.
Great. My internet freezes up once in a while, and I did not hear everything you said. I am so sorry, but would you just repeat what your question is?
Sure. Is there like a group of, quote, pickers in town that we could somehow get word to them what we're doing? Because you know how things just get picked up on our curbs all the time. People come through.
They can just do that on the curbs. We're not going to be able to do that at the park on this Saturday, if you know. But yeah, that's true on the side of the.
Because I'm wondering, is there like a collective of pickers, like with a Facebook group or something of?
There might be.
Place, I think.
I'll kind of look
Would this
through.
be like, instead of us, we didn't get to do our usual garage sale, but instead we could do a post that's like, hey guys, we're going to be putting out free stuff. If you want to come cruise the neighborhood, it'll be out between X and, 7 and 11.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, I put, our firewood on Casey Man Cave and all of these free group. I mean, we could certainly put that we're having our cleanup, and we can't have a donation truck, but if somebody wants to come and get the stuff.
For sure. We can do that.
I don't know where the best one is because I throw my stuff away. But
Julie, people are going to need to leave their stuff in front of their own houses. Do not bring reusable stuff to the park.
Correct.
And we don't have enough volunteers to put it in at the end of the time. We tried that once. It didn't work well. So we really don't want to have to redo that. So I think it's a great idea too, Regina, and working that out with finding a group like that is fine.
So Margie?
Yeah.
Let me reiterate, because I can post this.
Wait a minute. Wait.
On Facebook is to
wait.
Because
Stephanie,
we don't.
What are you saying?
So because we don't have access to clotheslines or whatever to pick up goods, we are not accepting them at the park.
We would encourage things that are not really trash, things that could be donated to Special Olympics or cross lines, to not be brought to the cleanup.
Right. So that's I posted that as part of my announcement.
Right.
I want to make a special statement to that fact and just say, spring cleanup as a reminder this year, we don't have an organization to pick up.
Good idea.
Household goods. Don't bring them. Donate them.
But we can say
hear
that we're going to work on coordinating a day to pick it up at the curb kind of thing.
Well, I mean, they can contact Big Brother, Big Sisters, or any other company to come and pick it up at their curb. I just want to make sure I'm understanding that so I can reiterate it on Facebook. And the fact that I don't want to be a bunch of disappointed people when they're like, I brought all my stuff over here and I can't dump it off.
Right. Well, and if they don't read, then they will be disappointed.
It's going to happen, yeah.
It's been on the flyer and you're reiterating it, but they've been told no pickups for those reusable household things. Here that's still usable, that we used to be able to set out on the grass and people there.
And I'll remind everybody at check-in too.
Well, and they could just be thrown away. I mean, if they bring them, then they get thrown away.
Right.
Thrown away. That's right. They
Right.
will get thrown away. Right. And so
I just texted some people in the neighborhood or like on my block asking them if they could volunteer. Everyone on this call could text your friends, your buddies, whatever, your neighbors on your block and just say, hey, we're shorthanded. Could you please help? Maybe just one and ask people.
Yeah, and they can come for either the 7 to 9 or 9 to 11. And it doesn't have to be coordinated, but if they let me know early enough, I can plug them in so that we all know that we are covered. But they can just come and help. That's fine. Sure. That'd be great. Anything else that we want to? I think that's it. See you guys Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you for all your effort.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I'll be there early.
Me
Me
too.
too.
All right, thank you, Margie.
You're welcome.
You're muted.
I'm muted. I double muted myself. So we've only got 3 minutes left. Julia, will you have enough time to go through your updates before we get to Raffle?
So I really kind of already went, mine was just that we are going to try and do a virtual neighborhood watch training. It sounds like probably we'll just need to, I'm not hearing a ton. If we can maybe wait a day or two, I'll reach out to Stephanie and we can get a blurb for Facebook, and then we may just, go ahead and kind of say it's going to be, it sounds like probably either Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, whichever is, most preferred. Because I haven't heard a lot back from the group that I emailed yet. That was
Okay.
mainly
Somebody's
it.
got a grandfather clock.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I just need to confirm that I don't know who Galaxy J7 Sky Pro is. I've asked, but you're not in the raffle because I don't know who you are. So just letting you know. And you're in the raffle because I know who you are. So ready. The Toms won.
Oh, yay!
Wow, never win anything.
I know.
You
What did
can
y'all
either-
win?
You can either take the phone and donate it since it's an Android, and I know you're people. But
You want to have somebody draw somebody else that might want it?
well, no, you get to
Oh.
decide. You get it,
Donate.
and you can do with it what you wish.
I think we ought to donate it.
To who?
Okay.
Does anybody want it? Anybody want the phone? They can have it.
It's an Android. It's a Note 8.
Probably a nice one, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how old is it?
A year and a half. She's on a Note 10 now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm on a Note 9. So, but it's Android, but it can be a tablet for a kid. It doesn't need to be hooked up to any service. It can go Wi-Fi.
If no one,
Anyway.
then we could probably use it at the Center for Kids with Autism we could play games on it or whatever.
That's a good
Yes,
idea.
take it.
Okay, I'll drop it off at Regina's house.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Great.
Thank
Don't you
you,
have the
Regina.
tablet too, Julie?
I have a tablet too, but we can use that for
next time.
September.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, guys. That does it for our meeting. So if there's nothing else to talk through,
We'll
we
see
can go ahead and
everyone
conclude
on
the meeting.
Saturday.
See you all on Saturday morning.
Saturday.
Bright and early.
All right, see you Saturday.
All righty.
Thank you, everybody. You are all
Thanks so much. And Miss Galaxy J7 Sky Pro, welcome to our call, but I don't know who you are.
and they won't respond. It's spooky. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
bye, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for coming in.